What's up, guys? This week's episode's kind of weird, but we're weird. That's the whole reason why we started this. So I'm just enjoying a little bit of this weather before it gets cold. So here we go. Welcome to the show.
We're trying to figure this shit out. My name's
I
Mike.
have a dream,
That's
that's
Kodi.
all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make me strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Oh my god. This is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night and there ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the
If I had to grab things I needed,
team, I've been tied to
I
the
would
scene.
grab-
Out on stage, here I'm screaming. Okay,
I'm
it's
grabbing
a
a
dream,
pistol.
and I pray as a turning point the day it be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, I'll get it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I'll
No.
win it.
Whatever it's supposed to do.
I don't know if you can see that on there, but it didn't open up as far as I thought it would.
We kind of did the same thing as last time. We did an AR platform versus the bolt action platform.
Right.
This AR is mine, that bolt action is his. We did some testing videos.
Best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.
Depending on how shooting the situation is, I'm grabbing.
Oh, and take 99.
Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
The microphone doesn't even work.
it doesn't work. I just want to see if it looks cool, and we're going to try it out one of these days when we get another one of these, and then we're going to be official, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Have all the cool audio effects and
And there's a new camera angle. We're trying this
new
out.
camera angle, new setup, same cabin, same hunting spot, same everything, just new setup.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of cozy.
Yeah. I feel like it's more tighter, compactor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, love tight.
all right.
So we got the hats in.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget that. We got the
Yeah.
hats in.
The hats are in. I'm going to, while I'm going to be gone every weekend in January,
Can't help it.
is going to be gone this weekend. I think I'm going to try to get them done. So, and then we'll post them in the next video, or I'll post them on the social medias of what they look like. And then if you want one, you can buy one.
But if you do want one, just saying now, they're going to have to hurry.
Yeah.
Because on this original initial order, I only got 25.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking there's like at least half of them sold already. Like,
Really?
guys, oh yeah, guys every day. They're like, hey, you got your hats done? You got your hats done? You got your hats done? I'm like, well, as soon as we get them done, yeah. We're going to take care of that.
Yeah, this is all a learning experience for me. I've never done the leather patches or anything, so
Right, right.
figuring it out.
Well, and you know, if they become too much of an issue, then maybe the leather patch hats will be a collector's edition, and we'll figure out how to just embroider them and get them punched out faster.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan, is to have multiple kinds. Like, if you like the leather patches, we'll keep doing the leather patches. If you like the embroidered ones like that, we'll do that. I mean, there's all different kinds of hats.
Right.
I have all different types at my house.
Right.
So, and
I got to be honest, after getting that shirt, I really want to do like a shed happens.
yeah. Well, I kind of like the layout of this sweatshirt. If this patch was bigger,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, you could do something like this with the logo on the sweatshirt. I mean, it ain't gonna be nothing pretty,
right.
but
Oh, you want it pretty.
there's nothing about me that's pretty. So, I mean, why would I make something look pretty?
I mean, you got to do something to make you look prettier.
Right. But, yeah, while you're at the basketball game, I think I'm going to try to
Oh,
scurry
yeah.
over. And,
Yeah. KU basketball, rock chalk.
and then next week, we're going to put a video out, because you're leaving Friday.
Yes.
I'll still probably post it Friday, like I did last Friday, and I will this Friday. But, you'll be gone next weekend.
In the mountains, doing
And-
some snow skiing. Well,
Yeah.
watching people snow ski.
For anybody that's there, if you're
and drinking
watching
beer.
this, and you see a camo blur go by screaming,
Won't be me. I ain't getting on sticks. I'm gonna be sitting in it. You see a fat man with a lot of tattoos, half naked, sitting in a jacuzzi. That'll be me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be drinking some cold beer and hanging out in the mountains. I'm probably gonna do some hiking.
Yeah.
There's a couple of lakes up there. Might buy my out-of-state fishing license and go see if I can't catch something.
Do they have like you know how you can go like in Missouri, you can hunt like for a day, like for duck
Yeah,
season.
you can get a one-day
Like, you can
fishing
get, like,
license.
you can get a 1 day deal.
But see, I put in every year for an elk tag, and because I do that, you get what is it? You buy a hip stamp, which is your small games permit. You have to have a small games permit to put in for your preference point.
Oh.
So then once you've put in for your preference point, you already have what they call a CID number, which is your Colorado identification number.
Mm-hmm.
I literally can go buy a fishing license pretty much anywhere because I just give them my CID number. All my information's in there. They just fill it out and give it to me, which is pretty cool. And like if you draw an elk tag in our particular unit, when you buy the elk tag, or I say that, you purchase it as you put in. When you get your elk tag, it comes with a fishing license. So for that year,
really?
yeah, which is good because it's like $680 for a damn elk tag.
Yeah.
But the year that you actually draw and get your elk tag, you have a fishing license for that year in Colorado too.
Huh.
Which works out pretty good if you're planning trips like we do a lot, where we just go up there and hang out.
Yeah.
If by chance it's on a year that I'm going to be elk hunting too, I already got my damn fishing license. We can go hang out for a couple weeks because I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago when I actually drew. We also did Christmas in July and went up to Colorado and stayed in Breckenridge for like a week.
Yeah.
I already had my fishing license.
Oh.
And the house we stayed in was literally right on the Blue River, which runs down through Breckenridge. Walk right out the back door and fish. I got some pretty cool pictures of that place too. It was a phenomenally fucking badass house.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is that just a Colorado thing? Or do a lot of states do that?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of states do that. Like if you get, I know Kansas doesn't. Kansas is kind of counterfeit when it comes to that. If you're an out-of-state hunter, you're paying dearly for everything.
Yeah, they don't
don't cater.
I get trying to keep people out of state. It helps guys like you and me out. Like,
right.
Makes it a little bit easier. But then again, it don't.
Anymore, though,
I mean,
you
really
got
don't.
so many out-of-state guys that are buying ground in Kansas.
Or leasing it. I mean,
they're not going to keep them out.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to keep them out purely for the fact that if I was them, I'd want to be able to come here and do it too. And I can't be mad at them. The only thing that gets a little frustrating is for guys, not me personally, because I have plenty of ground that I own, that I hunt, and I don't have to ask.
Yeah.
But for the local guys that want to go hunt, it's hard for them to find ground.
Right.
To do that.
Tell me about it.
Because instantly, used to, if you walk up to a farmer and you're like, hey, can I go hunt on your ground? Yeah, because you come up and ask, they'd write it on a piece of paper, you had written permission, you could do it. Now, you go up to a farmer and you're like, hey, can I possibly hunt this ground? They're like, well, how much you want to pay?
Yeah.
And you can't argue it because there's guys out of state that'll pay twice what we want to pay because they're willing to pay it to come here and hunt. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's for an out-of-state guy to come to Kansas and hunt, it's a commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like $500 for an out-of-state deer tag. They got all their time and money in traveling back and forth from their home state to here.
Yeah.
Money in leasing ground. For anybody who thinks deer hunting is cheap, right.
There's nothing, there's got to be a definition for the word hunting. You know, even like there is for forward. They always say found on road dead or whatever.
Right.
But like, the word hunting itself is expensive. Just
for
saying
sure.
It. Because you got clothing, you got equipment, like whether it's cameras, whether it's, and then you got gear.
Yeah.
Like guns.
Yeah.
Bows. Nothing about it is, it's like dirt track racing.
Oh yeah. I mean, those guys get eat up with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a lifestyle, but it's like you said, it's a commitment. And,
it is.
Well,
it's like my kid.
Oh,
he started in the other day. He's like, man, I really wish we could do more duck hunting. Me too. Mm-hmm. dude, there's some money in killing one of those because
God.
you got to have the shotguns, you got to have the blinds, you got to have the ground to hunt, you got to have dogs.
I remember
Decoys. Decoys are like what? That's an investment in itself.
So this was my brother Lucas, who's like 27 now, 26.
Right.
He was still in high school, maybe.
Right.
And I just had Hayden. I just had my oldest kid. When we went to Cabela's, I had sold an ATV that we were no longer all riding together. So I was like, I'm going to go put some money into duck hunting. So we went to Cabela's. And
spent the whole ATV.
It was me and my kids' mom, and then it was my daughter. And we went in there, and I was in there for 2 hours. I knew what I needed. I needed 24 floaters of ducks and geese.
Right.
And then I got the shells. But this was before they came out with all the shit they have now with the stands, and they float and spin. They didn't have any of that. I mean, and if they did, it was $500 for 6.
Right.
I mean, it was ridiculous. And I bought 2 mojos and like 2 or 3 new duck calls. I spent $2,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah, well, because you got to think, like, I don't know how I can compare it to deer hunting. I've seen people use those decoys.
Well,
but I mean, like,
in my mind, comparable to deer hunting with duck hunting is, so you got tree stands.
Yeah.
You got all the camo like you would with duck hunting.
Yep.
You figure a baseline bare minimum bow with everything on it that you need to hunt with, $600.
Yep.
And that's a cheap one. My bow alone with nothing on it was over $800.
Yep.
And then you've got feed and cameras, and some guys use feeders. When I said stand, you have to have multiple stands because you got to play the wind, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have different places to set for different wind.
Oh, yeah.
And the time in running cameras and checking cars. And for those people out there right now that say hunting where you feed is not hunting, I'm here to tell you that's hunting.
Yeah.
Like you work your ass off. I
It's
spend
not
the
a-
whole year preparing for maybe 40 days of hunting.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
spending
mean, that's
money.
the same as duck hunting because, like, we kind of do the same thing, but we don't really necessarily put the feed out. Like,
Right.
a lot of the places we hunt are cornfields or bean fields, or I mean, there's even wheat, everything. I mean, like, it's all the same.
Right.
So it's like you're going to a feed lot.
But you don't have to buy the feed in that aspect.
No.
You got to buy where I have to buy so much feed
Yeah.
to keep them coming in and keep them patterned and keep their eye.
Yeah.
You know, you have to spend that on layout blinds and boats and dogs and decoys. So I mean,
the thing about decoys is you buy them by 6.
oh, so they're half dozen instead of
Well,
dozen.
that's goose decoys. Duck decoys, you can buy. I think they come in a dozen still. I haven't bought them in for because it went through phases. My dad bought a bunch, then I bought a bunch, and then my brother bought a bunch, and then now we're kind of just.
And you guys just combined.
And it's kind of all just combined it. But
Yeah.
back when I was buying a bunch of stuff, it was when hardcore. I don't know if you ever heard of
Yeah,
hardcore.
hardcore
that's when
decoys, yeah.
They were first big on the scene, right?
Right.
So like. We were getting, because they had the most realist looking decoy.
For sure.
Like literally mine I bought were felt. Like,
Really?
it looked like you could splash water on it and it looked like it was running off
and
of a
it beat
feather.
up on them.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Waterproof, freeze-proof, all that stuff. It was kind of cool, but I'm pretty sure for them it was like for 600, or for 6 of them it was like $200 or $300.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then, you got the flags. You see them guys flapping
Yeah,
the flags.
yeah.
And those flags aren't cheap. And it's like, and you got shotgun shells, which is just like buying. I mean, the thing about hunting a deer is most of the time you get them in one shot. So you can buy a box of ammo of 20 of them, and that might last you a couple of deer seasons,
Yes and no.
depending on who's shooting. Like,
if you're
like your uncle,
right, if you're if you're talking gun hunting, in my aspect where you're bow hunting, so you buy, let's just say, so you buy a half dozen arrows.
Yep.
My half dozen arrows are $90 for
Damn.
the Carbon. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Carbon Express
I
Maximum
know why my
Reds.
brother got pissed when I broke one of his arrows.
6 arrows is $90.
Mhm.
So then, and I don't know if you've looked at them at Walmart, but you go into Walmart and you get a Rage broadhead.
Yeah.
3 of those bastards is $40. So you got $80 in arrows.
$120 in just arrows.
Yeah, and that's only 3 broadheads.
Oh,
That's just 3.
yeah, but how often do you carry more than like 3 ready to go? I mean,
I only usually carry, I carry what they call a mixed quiver. I have 3 broadheads.
do you have the squirrel arrow?
I do. I have the 3 broadheads. I have a judo tip, which is the chirping little fuckers. It's that for them. And then I carry 2 practice tips
Yeah.
on 2 arrows as well, because I got a 6 arrow quiver.
Yeah.
So the 2 practice tips, they're for coyotes. Or, which they are. I love it. If a coyote comes in underneath my deer stand, he's done.
Yeah, because don't you want them out? Because
These
they run off
these
deer?
bad boys right here, they're
Yeah.
pretty. I love their hide. I don't waste them.
Yeah.
Because I'll skin them out and tan them. My issue with it, you can have a whole herd of deer
And that one
in front of you, and it's just getting to prime time, and you know that big boy's about ready to step out, and one of these assholes will walk through and scare the whole herd off and ruin the whole hunt.
Yeah.
And here you've set since, I don't know, I go out early. I'll go about 1 o'clock, maybe 2, and set till dark.
Yeah.
You've set all that time waiting for those last 15 minutes of just prime time. Here they come. And this prick ruined the whole thing. So, yeah, I always have arrows for other things than deer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you talk about money. Essentially, by the time
I'd say it's about even.
it is.
Yeah.
But that's why I was
Depends on
trying.
I would say it depends on now field hunting. I've been with some guys like we know a guy named Jordan McDermott.
Huge money.
I've been with him. He's hunted with me once or twice up where I got permission to hunt at. And field hunting's a little different. Anybody can go to a pond and throw out a dozen duck decoys.
And
And most likely you can get in, it just depends. Duck hunting is just like any other hunting. You got to be there at the right time, at the right day.
on the right group of water where
on
they happen
the
to be
right
coming
water, and the wind's got to be blown just right, and the decoy's got to move. And I
And you know
mean,
what's crazy? I didn't know it until this year. I didn't know guys, because my kid's really getting into it.
Yeah.
With the neighbor boy, and they've been going a lot. I didn't realize that guys scouted for ducks.
Oh,
just
we
like
would-
they do deer.
so we would
They would
hunt
go
till-
drive around to see which ponds they were landing on,
Yeah,
and then call the landowner, and they'd be like, "Hey, so the last 3 nights we've had ducks landing on your pond.
Yep.
Would it be possible if we hunted them?"
yep.
But it's like he was telling me. He's like, so they landed on it 3 nights. They may not be there that 4th
No.
night.
There was times we would so we'd usually get up 3 in the morning. I
Right.
mean, depends how cold it is. I mean,
Right.
if like say for instance it's this coming weekend and that temp's going to drop real fast and real hard, probably won't be so bad. Like next weekend when you're going to be going, it's going to be in the single digits.
Right.
We would get up 2:30, and we'd have to go break ice. So you'd break ice for an hour and a half, and then
And maybe not even see a duck.
and then no, breaking. I don't care what the hell you say. If you buy the ice machines, they got the big ass fan you put in the water, but you still got to break the ice to get the damn machine in the water.
Right.
So they're like $1,000.
Oh, God.
It's this massive fan, and it's waterproof. Basically, it's like a boat propeller.
Right.
And you break the ice, put it in there, and it circulates water.
It keeps the water
It keeps
moving
the
so
water
it doesn't
moving.
freeze back.
Well, then they came out with those vibrating duck quivers that vibrates the water for you,
Mhm.
so it keeps your deep. Those are a little bit cheaper, but we would usually hunt till about 8 or 9. Whenever it's just like deer hunting. After about 8 or 9, it stops moving.
Right.
They're usually feeding. They're
They're already to where they're going.
The ducks normally get up, and then most likely they get up and then they feed early, and then they go get water, and then they're done.
Okay.
And they're done until about, just like deer hunting, 1 o'clock. You're back out there waiting until
For the evening
that
hunt.
hour and a half of evening time, and that's
Right.
when you'll start seeing them. I've had more success in the mornings and evenings because birds are weird.
Right.
But yeah, we would get down at like 8 or 9, and we would drive around till 1 or 2, and then go back hunting again.
Nice.
Just because you want to get an idea for the next day, and then even then, depending on how that first hour of hunting was, you might just leave early and then go drive around and see what fields they're in. And I've literally, I don't know if I've said this before, I've literally hunted here, watched them land in this field here for 2 straight days in a row, set up that field that 2
And then
days later, and they land back over here. And it's like, what the shit? Because then you
They're
spend,
smart.
like with the layout blinds, this field could be corn from last year, or from that year, and that field could be beans. So you're stripping your laydown blind from corn, finding all the bean stuff to get it all laid out. Like, you got to pack all that grass and bean in there. And you lay in here, and that takes you about an hour to get all that shit in there.
And they're back
so then
to
the land over here. And it's just like, and ducks are weird because, most of the time, like in the rut or whatever, you can take them antlers and rattle the piss out of them.
And get somebody's attention.
And get somebody's attention. Whether it's the one you want to shoot or not, because he's going to come in snorting and he's going to be mad.
Right.
And then someone's going to hear him mad, and they're like, oh, I bet you won't go. And I mean, like, that's how it is. Ducks are like, no, fuck off. I mean, like, we're going over here.
Yeah.
You ain't getting us in here. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see your kid want to duck hunt because...
Well, it's cool, but what I can't get through his head, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, what I can't get through his head is, once you commit to a style of hunting, and you get that invested in it, it's not easy to just invest into another one too. It's like I told him, I said, buddy, for us to do duck hunting right, we need to invest as much money into duck hunting as I've invested the last 10 years into deer hunting.
Yep.
Literally the other day I went into Walmart just to see what they had on the sale rack. A season's winding down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a January season going on, I think. But
duck season's got till... I think it's
like the 13th.
Yeah.
Is a January doe season.
I think they do like a late season thing too.
Well,
but then you also got snow geese, and fuck that. I'm not being shit on as I'm shooting.
I mean, if they taste good, I don't care.
Snow geese are like pigeons, dog.
They don't taste good?
I've never ate one because I've been told they taste like grease.
I mean, pigeons are a delicacy over in England. They call it squab. You go to a fancy restaurant, like fancy steakhouse, and you're paying dearly for pigeon.
America. I'm just saying America.
Right.
We recognize shit when we see it.
Right. But it's like I told him, I ran into this buddy of mine at Walmart, and I was like, what are you looking at? Because he was kind of off. We're in the hunting section, he's kind of off over. And I said, can you believe how much deer stuff is on sale? And he goes, I don't really even do that anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He said, man, about all I do anymore is duck hunt.
Yeah.
I was like, well, did you quit deer hunting? He said, I can't afford to do both.
You can't.
And I got to thinking, I'm like, really? He goes, no, I can't afford to do both. He said, I can either duck hunt or I can deer hunt. He said, because both of them cost so much and they're so situation specific. He's like, I can't do them both.
Yeah.
So he got to where he enjoyed duck hunting more than he did deer hunting. So that's what he stuck with.
I will say, I started out when I first started duck hunting and buying my own things and going out on my own with Logan and my brothers. We did get cheap shit. I mean, there was one time I'm pretty sure I bought decoys from a dude at a garage sale. And, I mean, I was like, I was 19, 20 years old and I was a first-time dad. I was like, I don't have the money to go to Cabela's anymore.
But garage sale decoys work.
But, I mean, they'll work just fine.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, are you going to get the big groups of mallards? Probably not. Are you going to get those local birds, or you're just your normal, your normal average duck? To me...
They eat the same.
Yeah, they all taste great in jerky. I don't give a shit. I will not eat duck any other way. It's too livery to me.
Okay, so...
Even if you soak it in milk, I don't care.
No, now that you bring that up, I have to tell you. So there's this old man. I'm not even sure he's still alive. Mm-hmm. His name was Marv, but everybody called him, for some reason or another, they called him Croaker.
Yeah.
So we used to have, with a neighbor down here before he passed away, we used to have deer camp. Every year, that one weekend during deer season, all the local farmers and everybody would bring food.
Yeah.
In this old milk barn down here, and we would all sit around and eat, and they'd had moonshine and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So Croaker brings in this 13x9 casserole dish. Yeah. And he's like, hey kid, you better try that. And I'm like, okay. So I walk over there and I look at it, and they're steaks, and they're probably the size of a softball and about a half-inch thick. Yeah. Battered just like deer steak in this white gravy. And I'm like, damn, I better try one of them. And his wife made it. So I'm sitting there eating it, and I'm thinking, this is the best frickin' deer steak I've ever had. Yeah. It wasn't deer steak.
It was duck?
It was Canadian goose.
Really? See?
And I'm like, And I told him, I said, Croker, that's the best deer steak I think I've ever had. He goes, well, that's kind of weird. I said, why is that weird? He goes, it ain't deer.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, no, that's goose. And I'm like, really? His wife would take them breasts off the, and it was crazy. He was the kind that would go out and shoot them, bring them home. His wife cleaned them.
Yeah.
She cleaned them, she dressed them all out, and she would take the leg meat, which I'd never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
She'd take the leg meat off the bone, cube it up, and make like a stew with it, like beef stew.
I've never done that.
She said it was good. But she took those breasts and cut them like cross-sectioned into these deer steak looking things.
Yeah.
Roll them in flour and seasoning and whatever, fry them, and then put them in this 13 by 9, make a gravy and stick it in the oven.
See,
the most tender thing you've ever put in your face, and it was good.
See, my dad did that once because
You need a beer, don't you?
Yeah.
If Joe Rogan can get up from the camera and go get a beer, I'm doing it.
My dad did that one time. He had a really good morning. Like, he shot a bunch.
Brought to you today by Bush Light.
And
Not really, but I'd be okay with it.
He went in there and cooked him like you kind of would like a deer steak. He didn't really fry nothing up. He just tossed them in a cast iron and just sear in the
Oh,
pan.
really?
Tasted like shit. And then there was one time,
Tasted like shit.
he and my brother Jake can vouch for this. Was when he first got his Traeger, because he's one of them.
Brand whore?
Yeah, brand whore.
I think the pit bosses work just as good.
Same damn thing. It's kind of like buying Always Save chips. But
I like Always Safe.
I
like Best Choice.
He tossed them on there, smoked them up, and I'm thinking, look, that's probably got to be good because
Right.
I haven't found nothing on a smoker I don't like,
Right.
and they still tasted like shit. And then there's one time he took them in there, soaked them in milk for about an hour, and we had like a late breakfast. He kind of like pounded them out like you like a country fried steak.
Yeah.
Floured them up, seasoned them up, fried them in oil, smothered them in gravy. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
But and I can eat like the whole, like, you know how they say Dove's kind of the same way.
I love Dove.
But you wrap them in bacon and jalapeno and
I make
like,
Dove poppers.
Yeah. Those are, I've never had a duck that way. But if you take a duck and do it the country fried way,
Yeah.
this shit's good.
Yeah.
For the people that like to eat them duck breast, parfait, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
with the
props
skin
to
on
you.
it.
That's just like the people that eat the fucking eggs on shit. I ain't
Yeah,
doing
no.
it. I ain't doing it.
But the kicker with duck
Yeah.
are so I've tried. You get a grain eater like a pintail or a wood
You can
duck.
see them in the breast?
Huh?
Have you been able to see that in the breast yet?
Like a what do they call that? Where it looks like they're wormy.
Yeah, but it's white. It's grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's so weird looking.
yeah, so weird.
Had me nervous as shit one time.
Me too.
Yeah.
So those ducks, yeah, they're great.
Oh yeah, them farm fred.
You get into shovelers
Oh.
and coots. Oh God, coots stink to clean them. Me and a buddy got drunk one night.
Shoot.
Huh?
I thought those were illegal to shoot.
Coots? No, the little black ducks. You can get like 20 of them, I think, in the state of Kansas.
No, those no.
The little divers.
No, well, what's the ones you see? I don't know if I've been to Rock Creek lately since it's empty. But they used to have them big old black ugly things.
Those are cormorants.
Yeah,
The
those.
big long beak.
Yeah.
Those are super illegal to shoot.
Why? They're fucking everywhere.
I know. No, I'm talking about like the coots.
Yeah,
They
the
look
black
like
and
a
white
teal.
ones. Yeah, it's like a smaller version of a wood duck, but it's
Yeah.
black and then it's got the white.
Yeah.
It's got the white right here.
Those literally you
Tastes
cut
like
the
shit.
skin
Yeah.
and they stink. They smell like, you know how in the summertime when you're frogging and you step in that mud and it just smells rotten?
Yep.
That's the way they smell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't do it.
No. Duck I can eat it certain ways, and I gotta be like
But I think
either
it's
very hungry or in the mood.
all in how you prepare it.
Yep.
For one, because and I'm going to tell you one that I did that's totally funny, and I'm convinced there's no way to prepare it right. I mean, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
You've heard that old saying, "Eat crow."
Yeah.
I ate crow.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I've been like it's like chicken.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that bad. It's kind of it's not quite as red of a meat as a pheasant,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not quite as light of
you
a
love
meat
pheasant.
as a chucker.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you've ever had chucker. Amazing. When I worked out that high fence ranch,
Yeah.
and we'd set birds for people. Every time they didn't want them, I'd bring them home, and we made we'd take that chucker and throw it in the crock pot and cook it to where it just shred like chicken.
Yeah.
and made taquitos.
Oh,
Wrap them in, put this cheese and like, it was kind of like Rotel, but it was like salsa. Mix it all up, roll them in it, and then deep fry them. Oh my God. The best taquitos you ever had in your life. So, we're on the subject of stuff that tastes gross, though. Trout. I have not found a single way to cook it that I can stomach it. If I go trout fishing, I'm going to catch them. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to try not to touch them because it's something to do with you touching them. They just die.
Mm-hmm.
Unhook them and let them go.
Yeah.
One of my uncles loves trout.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they have a slime on them. They're like a catfish. They have a film on them. And if you handle a trout too much, you'll kill it. That's why you see them guys, when they're fly fishing, they will literally pick them up in a net. They never actually put their hands on them. And they'll take the hook out, drop the net back in, and let them swim off. I don't, somebody might know. If you know, comment. I don't really know a whole lot about it, other than, like, we go down to Rowan River.
Yeah.
If you catch one and you decide you don't want to keep it because you want 2 big ones. You just pop the hook out and throw it back in. But if you handle it too much or hold it up, like taking pictures before you throw it back, they'll die.
Really?
And if you ever noticed, you put them on a stringer, they're dead in no time. They have super tender gills.
Really?
Yeah, they're a very delicate fish. So
if I put it on a stringer, it's going to die anyway.
That's yeah. But I mean, sometimes you put one on a stringer and you're like, ooh, I caught a bigger one. Maybe I'll take the smaller one off, let him go.
Yeah.
You ain't doing that shit. You put a trout on a stringer, you're committed.
Yeah.
But my mom's brother, one of my uncles, loves trout.
Yeah.
Every time we go trout fishing, and he lives down around Carthage, if we keep any, we always pack them in ice, bring them up, and on our way home, we'll stop and drop them off and give them to him.
Yeah.
He loves them. I can't stomach it.
Really?
It's mushy. Like, I haven't found a good way to cook it. I even tried filleting it like a bass and deep frying it.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's not, because salmon, you know how salmon's fishy?
Yeah.
It's not that kind of fishy. It's
Smoked
like,
salmon is delicious.
hell yeah. And you get that fishy smell.
Yeah.
But on a salmon, it's not, I don't know, I just can't stomach trout.
Yeah.
We went to Breckenridge that year, and that trout stream's right behind it. And we caught a bunch, and me and my brother-in-law and my father-in-law were like, we're going to cook these up. We're going to make them good. We're going to have trout for dinner one night.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, we caught some big browns and some big brooks. So we take them, gut them, cut the heads off, prep them all up. I even scaled one, just thinking maybe getting the scales off would help. Stuffed them full of butter and lemon and went all out. Seasoned them, cooked them on a grill. We tried some on a grill, some in an oven. And I can't even remember what else. They were horrible. They were horrible. I felt so bad for killing those fish.
Because it didn't get eaten?
They were, I think if there's any coons in Breckenridge, they ate really good behind that house that we stayed in because we had to throw it all away. It was just mush and nasty. So if anybody's got any recipes that they're convinced are good with trout, feel free to share them with me. I will try them because I like to trout fish.
Yeah. What?
I'm not going to eat it.
I had to make sure the camera was.
What are you looking at?
So on our other camera,
Uh-huh.
it has the light that stays red when you're recording.
Okay.
That one in the middle, about right here by this duck beak,
Uh-huh.
says REC. Very, very tiny.
Really?
And I'm used to the green light on our other camera.
Right over here.
Yeah.
Up here.
On our other camera, the light where you hit the record button on the back is red too. That one's green.
Okay.
So I'm still figuring out this camera.
Okay.
But I did the same thing last
Is that
episode.
the Sony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because one of these days, we've done it before. There was one time we recorded an episode,
And the whole thing
and the fucking microphone was dead. That was the 8.6 blackout episode.
I think it would have been a great episode.
Yeah. But our microphone that was on the old camera died, so we got this camera that has it all kind of built in, and I'm still learning what colors are where. But that was a little off-subject topic. But
No, it's all right.
yeah, trout, I've ate it. The only time I ever ate it and I enjoyed it was when my stepdad's father made it. And I don't know what he did. And granted, I was also a teenager, so teenagers will eat anything.
Right.
And I ate it, and it wasn't bad. But I haven't really ever cooked it since because there's not really anywhere around here to catch it unless you go to Gun Park.
Well, yeah.
But
and,
I mean,
and people do.
So cute.
But it kills me because I want to like it.
Yeah.
Like I've tried. So I've tried wrapping it in foil.
Yeah.
And putting all the butter and garlic and lemon and all that stuff. And in that aspect, it cooks it good, but the skin's like slimy still.
Yeah.
So then I thought, well, I'll just burn the shit out of it.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing, seasoned it up good, put it right straight on the fire, and made it crispy on the outside. It was almost... So I tried it, didn't like it, put it back on. I almost made fish jerky out of this shit by the time we were done. I'm not kidding you. You literally, if you were into that, you could grab one of the fins and go, and it sounded like you were eating a potato chip.
Yeah.
Still sucked. It had a weird taste. So then I listened to another buddy of mine who, Tyler, if you ever watch this, you'll know what I'm talking about. He is a huge, huge fly fisherman.
Yeah.
Dude went to chiropractic school, moved to Vegas. Like, he travels all the time. That's his passion, is fly fishing.
Yeah.
He makes videos all the time of tying flies. I'd have to find out what his little hashtag thing is so you can look it up. But the dude's got some cool videos of tying these flies. He loves.
A guy on TikTok that did that.
Oh, dude, I could spiral down a wormhole.
He spin the baits and everything. Maybe we'll talk about that one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got fascinated one day.
I'd like to try it. I got to be honest, when it's cold out like this, if I had some kind of hobby where I was doing stuff like that, I think I'd be really good at it.
Like back when we were kids and you used to go to Walmart and buy the miniature card collector things and you can make your own
Yeah.
cards. You know?
Oh, dude.
That used to keep me entertained for hours.
Well, that and then it's been a long time ago. But I got on the whole paracord thing for a while.
Oh.
Making a paracord bracelets?
Yep.
I still have probably 40 at home already made up. So if you ever want a paracord bracelet,
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch to look through because it was cold out, couldn't do anything. Hunting seasons were kind of in and out, kind of over, and I'm like, And I started watching videos of people tying all these. I had to learn every knot there was.
Yeah.
And there's tons. So I did that. But I'd like to do the whole, if nothing else, just to try it, make your own jigs.
Oh, I've watched a lot of TikTok stuff and spiraled down that wormhole of watching them do it, and some of the ways they just have that thing that they spin it and then like they tie it, and like, that's just, and I'm just like, what's he doing?
Yeah, and it starts off as just a hook, and by the time it's done, I've watched this one guy on TikTok. It literally looks like a bug when he's done.
Do you ever see that? He's a bigger, heavier set guy that wore the overalls all the time.
I don't know if I have seen that one.
I used to watch him because it was like, you know, when you get on TikTok and you're scrolling and it says like the Facebook Live thing, and
Right.
someone's live, he'd be live. I'm like, he's making bait. And I click on it and I'm like, wait a minute, and like you'd watch him go from nothing to something, and you're like, that's kind of cool. And then he just sets it off and then does it again and just starts. I mean,
Or
they
where
can
they
do it in
take-
a matter of minutes.
Or where they take like a little piece of foam cord and tie it crooked on there, and you're like, what is he doing? The next thing you know, this dude's flipped it over, tied it, cut it, did this, did that, and it's a freaking caterpillar. And I'm like, that looks like a real caterpillar.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, I spiral down wormholes on some of them
Yeah.
videos, and I'm like, God, I have just wasted an hour of my life watching some guy eat shrimp.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you've ever done that.
Eat shrimp.
No, watch these Asians. Is that politically correct?
I guess. Why'd you look at it with an aggressive face, though?
Well, because I don't want to offend anybody, but that's
Yeah,
what
Asian,
they are.
Asian, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say hop sing or anything like that. That's probably offensive.
Yeah.
But no.
Fuck it.
Yeah, but they're like a plate full of food.
Mhm.
And some people it probably kind of grosses out, but it's like they're slurping.
Oh.
And I think that's like a...
Like the people that take the octopus and they're like,
Yes!
the whole octopus is sitting there and they're just like sucking on a tentacle. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and just
ugh.
like this one little gal, I bet she didn't weigh maybe 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
And she's eating these dumplings that are like the size of a softball and just shoveling this shit in. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and the next thing I know, 30 minutes later,
Yeah.
I'm still watching this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm on like video 30, and I'm like, what in the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
My wife, she's big with the whole cake decorating videos.
That's how my kids are. So, you know that show on Netflix where they have like the kids cooking thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids will nerd out on
Really?
that shit. Oh yeah, the cake decorating and the cupcakes and making all the cool shit with them.
Yeah.
My kids will watch all of that.
Well, so my wife got me hooked on it. And yeah, but mine is not so much cake decorating. Mine was I can't remember what it's called. If anybody knows, comment so I can get back on there and look again. But is it cake or not?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
is
that
it
is
like a
cool.
bowling ball and a bowling ball?
Yeah,
Like,
which one's cake and
Yeah.
which one's not. And they
Yeah.
did a telephone, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
old style receiver telephones.
Yep.
Looked just like a damn telephone, and I actually picked the wrong one several times watching it. I watched one last night. I swear to God, it was a T-bone. It was a steak.
Yeah.
It had the like glimmer of wet on it, you know,
Yeah.
like the juices and everything, and I'm like, that's definitely a steak. And the dude cut it, and I watched it mash, and I'm like, there is no way in hell. It was 3 layers of cake even.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so messed up.
Yeah. It's
And then-
crazy.
And
what
that's
they
part
can
of
do.
your life you'll never get back.
But was it worth it?
I mean, I'm still talking about it.
Yeah. I mean,
it was kind of trippy.
That's all that matters.
I'm like, holy shit, I just wasted an hour of my life watching a video of people making cake. My wife will attest, she loves cake videos.
Oh yeah, it's wild. I mean, and that's TikTok. I mean, like, in anything, I can be on TikTok sometimes for 5 minutes, just like everything looks boring, and then I
Right.
find that one video and it's like, what is that? And then you watch it, and then you end up going to the next episode. Like you click on their profile, and that's how I got with that guy that did debate stuff, and I was like, what is he making? And then like next thing you know, Milo is like, what are you watching? Just like
It kind of scares me though.
Well, just like today at work, we were talking about how we got all that stuff. Well,
Right.
We were talking about when I think it was Mitch brought it up. Shout out Mitch. He got that case. He got an old case,
Uh-huh.
and he's gonna turn it into a Pokemon and comic book collection case for his son.
Oh,
And we got to talk about Pokemon cards. Dude, I watched one night these people open up Pokemon packs that had all these, like, they didn't know if they had rare shit in it or not, and they were just going through them and looking. Dude, I got down that fucking wormhole of,
oh my God.
what's in the next package? And then so, like, she's like, what are you watching? And I'm like, it was on a weekend, and it was like 1 in the morning. And I started at like 10. And I'm
And
like, I'm invested because some of these cards I used to have as a child. And then, because they used to have some of the old packs from like the 90s, and they're very expensive shit.
Really?
Well, then they got the new stuff. So I was like, wonder what the new stuff's like, because my lady's daughter collects Pokemon cards. And so I was like, I wonder if she has any of these. Well, then she was like, what's it called? And so she looks it up on TikTok. Next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and we're both fucking sitting there watching.
Really?
Just because it's like one of those, you don't know what it is. You're
Right.
like, is there going to be any rare cards? Because 9 times out of 10, there's not. Like,
Right.
you get that one kind of cool looking one,
Goes
and then all of a
through-
sudden, BAM! And you're like, fuck, that's a $15,000 card. I mean, like, you'd be surprised. Like, we were
Really?
talking today at work. There's a guy, I'll have to show you the episode, but you obviously know who Logan Paul is.
He's the one that bought the...
He bought one, so as I think I'm for sure there's only 10 of those that are rated a 10, or a 9.9 or whatever, like, have been graded a 10.
I thought it was, what's it, Post Malone that
No.
paid like...
No, that's
buku money.
No, that's Magic the Gathering. That's a different card game.
Oh.
Logan
I know
Paul
how to
found
play-
a guy.
I know how to play gin rummy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a good.
Is there
game.
any of them expensive cards?
You just buy a deck of cards from Walmart.
Oh.
But he bought a card from a guy.
I don't know about it.
The guy had the 10 rarest editions of this Charizard card.
The what?
It's a Pokemon card, and he had 10 of the rarest ones.
Can you hunt them?
No, they're not even real. It's a TV show from the 90s.
Okay.
It finally ended.
Everett, if you watch this with your dad, you know who Charizard is. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
That boy is ate up with Pokemon. This is
Well, I
specifically
mean,
for you, Everett.
It's crazy because it was one of those things as a child, I was like, this is never going to go anywhere. I used to play the games on the Game Boys when I was a kid. You know,
Right.
it was the thing of the 90s.
Right.
And Logan Paul bought one of the 10 cards for over $1 million.
Oh my God.
The guy has held on to 10 of them for like the last 15 years. Is the only one to have these cards, and finally he realized it was time to sell one. He had
Just
turned down millions before.
Really?
Because he's like, I'm the only one that has these. So one day they're going to be worth more and worth more and worth more. And Logan Paul walked in with a suitcase full of money and said, here's like 1 point some million. Like,
I want one of them cards.
I want one of them cards. I've been collecting them for a long time. And the guy's like, you know what? I respect that. Here, you can have whichever one you want. And they were all 10 the same fucking card. But I mean,
wait a minute. How much did he respect it? Did he give it to him for free, or did he make him pay for it?
No, he paid for it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he had turned down numerous offers before him.
Really?
For years. Yeah, because that is the most sought after card. Is that one card, the one condition that it is in. There's not very many of them left, and there's not. Anybody that watches this that was 90s babies that collected Pokemon cards and they're in your fucking garage, go look for them.
Really?
Like, yes. It's ridiculous. Even like Arian, my how old is she? 10? Yeah, she's 10 years old. She got into collecting Pokemon stuff. And so she got, dude, there was some from watching that TikTok thing that we had found. She got a bunch of them for Christmas the last couple years. And she goes through, there's always 3 to the front. You pull 3 from the back to the front. Like when you open them upside down. And you take 3 from the back and put them to the front. Because in the back card is the most rarest card of that package. And so Arian would do that. And would go through them.
Really? It's always that way?
That's just how people that collect them open them up. Because if you open them up and then you take that, like the way they package them, they put the rarest in the middle of that package.
Okay.
So if you open them up and take 3 off the back with them facing down, like say, here's my phone, this is up, and this is down. You can face them down, take 3 off the back and put them in the front. That way, whenever you go through each card, the rarest card of that pack is on the back of them.
Okay.
And so we got Arian
I've
into
actually
it.
seen a guy on TikTok opening them.
Yeah.
And I wondered why he did that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it puts the rarest card on the back. And she has got some. I have a tin can of a Pokemon tin can thing that is full of sleeve cards that are worth, some of them are worth a couple $100. Some of them might be close now to worth $1,000.
See,
I
I can't.
per card. But
can't-
it's like baseball cards when you were a kid.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I can't make fun of people for doing that. If that's your thing, more power to you.
Yeah.
I was ate up, still am. Ate up with baseball. I had baseball cards. I say that.
Well, shit, you used to get those in cereal boxes.
I still have them.
Yeah.
And the kicker with them is I don't know how to check and see what they're worth anymore. Used to
eBay.
you go and buy a Beckett.
eBay.
Really?
Yep. You can literally go on eBay and you type in like whatever card you have.
Right.
Just look up that card on eBay or Google. And they got, dude, there's auctions all the time. There's eBay is probably...
Really?
eBay is, okay. I remember
So now,
eBay,
is it hard to sell on eBay?
Nope. No, it's not. You can make an account. And most of the, I mean, if you just, having a card graded makes it worth more money.
And see, all of my cards, every single one of them, has never been handled.
Yeah.
They're all in
So like,
binders.
if you went to Walmart and bought those real thick sleeves, and you just slid them in a sleeve.
Every one of them.
Yeah, and then you send them off to, there's a couple of different places. You send them off to get graded. You could have a $1,000 card the way it sits now at your house. Say it's just say Bo Jackson from the Royals. It's just like it's a rookie card.
I have
whatever. Read next. And then you fucking got one finally. You got one.
Got him all amped up, and he's wicked.
And then you take it and send it off, and it gets graded.
Right.
And they send it back in a sealed case that says the grade on it. It says everything on it. That $1,000 card could now possibly be worth $5 because it's graded.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm making a commitment right now on video. You see this, it's happening.
But go on eBay and look.
I want your help.
Okay.
If we can make a shit ton of money off of these baseball cards,
Oh, yeah.
I will invest it into this podcast.
And the crazy thing is, I've watched some like
Dude,
Pokemon
I have
cards.
some cards. I have some cards that I feel like, because they were super rare back when, and yes, I'm old. They were rare back when I was doing it and younger.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be worse than Jack.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's crazy. Like I've
But
watched
I don't
people-
know. I didn't know how to do it, who to trust, who to talk to. Used to, you had a card collector, a card shop, and you didn't deal with them right off the bat.
Yeah.
You
Because
kind
that's
of
what
felt
it's
it
like
out.
going to a pawn shop. Like they're supposed to make
For
money.
sure.
And
You
so
kind
they're
of
gonna
felt the guy
underbid.
out
Yeah.
and figured out who you could trust, who you couldn't.
Yep.
Only went in when this guy was working, Only showed him a little bit of your cards because you didn't want him to just jump on you.
Yep.
And, man, I got so tired of dealing with the riffraff and the dishonest assholes.
Yeah.
I was like, piss on it.
Yeah.
So I just started collecting and I hoarded them.
Yep.
And I know I've got cards that currently, like when you start talking Tops and Donruss and Fleer and all that, I've got cards that were limited circulation for certain years. They've never done that particular style again.
Like I seen one,
Like a Diamond King.
It was
Donruss did what they called a Diamond King.
Yeah.
And it was also, like an Andy Warhol painting.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of abstract. They did cards like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got Mark McGuire's, Pete Rose, you name it. 30 years old.
Yeah, I seen a guy. It was on TikTok. He was there was a guy that went into a shop and he had his card graded, and it was a Michael Jordan rookie Bulls card. It was signed, but it was actually it was actually signed too. Like Michael Jordan signed it.
That's even.
And if anybody knows sports, most sports athletes don't sign things.
Well, they don't sign their cards.
No, they won't sign their cards, and if they do, if you do get an autograph from somebody that is and I'm not saying let's say you bought something off of the internet that Patrick Mahomes went and sat down and signed 500 jerseys and they just handed them out.
The signature quality's horrible.
I'm saying Patrick Mahomes after a football game walked up and signed something of yours. That is different. But it was a Michael Jordan signed rookie Bulls card.
Wow.
And this guy's I've held on to it for years. It was in a collection. I was going through them, and he sent it off to get graded, and it was a 9.1. I mean, pretty, because I think 9.9, a 10 is the highest, but you rarely ever see those.
Right.
Rarely ever see them. And it was a 9.1 or something, and the guy did not know how much he was I was going to post it on eBay, but I just want to get a second opinion. And the guy goes, you need to go home and put that away. And he's like, why? And he was like, that's a retirement. That's a retirement card. And he's like, what? And he was like, you need to you need a broker to help with that. That's money.
Really?
And he's like, what do you mean? He was like, well, because something about the card he had, they didn't make very many of that card, but it was a rookie edition. It's weird how cards work. You could have 10 different Michael Jordan rookie cards.
But only one of them
but only 2 of the 5 are worth anything.
Yeah, for sure.
And that guy had that card.
Wow.
And it happened to be signed by Michael Jordan.
Not only had that card, but he had that card and it was signed.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
That's like a unicorn card.
And so the guy's like, here's a business card, call this guy. He will come to your house directly and he will make you a reasonable offer.
That's cool.
And I'm assuming that man made money.
Just while we're on the subject, I got to say it. Michael Jordan all the way.
Oh.
LeBron James ain't ever going to have anything on Michael
This
Jordan.
is not a sports podcast, but yeah.
If I had to argue
there is
all day
no
long,
debate.
Always Michael Jordan.
And for people who say, well, they're 2 different eras, it doesn't matter.
No.
Michael Jordan didn't need a team to win.
No, Michael Jordan was a...
There's a reason why that's Tom Brady.
He was a hero,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
He was not only a wonderful basketball player, but he was a good person.
Sucked at baseball.
Well, I mean, he tried. And he even tried golf, too.
He owns his own golf course.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Have you seen the golf course?
Huh.
Oh, God.
That dude was an athlete.
I'm pretty sure it's called 23 or something like that, obviously. But you can't, it's an invitational only. And you still have to have a membership, and it's
Call me, Mike.
it's a lot of money.
And I don't play golf.
No, I play there. You mean you might have to have the greenskeeper behind me because I'm chunking some shit.
And in case you were wondering, it's not Zins like Bert Kreischer.
Oh,
this
no.
is straight up Rogues. I
I
love
still
them.
want to try those ones off of his podcast.
I know.
He's like, is this shit from Russia?
Yeah, it was. It was from Russia.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, Tom Segura?
He's like, oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
He's like, I have to shit now. Because he said, I got to take a shit. I had it for 20
If
seconds.
you put it in for 20 seconds and you got to drop a deuce, there's a problem.
There's narcotics in there.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, what is this? It's laxative.
No, that shit's funny.
That is cool.
But yeah, I mean, if you ever look up your cards, yeah. That's like, my uncle did the same thing with comic books.
I seriously do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just talking about it with somebody the other day, and I'm like, you know what? I would get rid of all my baseball cards. As long as I knew I was getting a fair price for them.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything. They're not doing me any good.
Yeah.
They're in the top of a closet.
But how many people do you think have the same problem? They have baseball cards, or comic books, or Pokemon cards, or
A
anything.
lot.
Like,
And you know what? If they're not worth a lot. Like, if it's not worth my time, I would just as soon find some kid
Yep.
that's going to eat it up
Oh yeah.
and, like, really enjoy it and give them to him just so when he's 40 years old, he can be like, look, this old dude gave them to me when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and now they're super old. Because you know as well as I do, like that Mickey Mantle, that Babe Ruth, those cards were done that way.
Oh yeah.
Some dude collected it, kept it forever, and he was like, I ain't gonna do nothing with it. Here, kid. And he'd give it to some kid, and that kid hung on to it forever, and then give it to another kid, and then this kid ends up filthy, stinking
Well, that's
rich.
just like those older guys that have the classic cars.
Yeah.
And they have them, and they have them, then they turn 95, and they realize, okay, my time's coming up. And this one kid drives by and stops and looks with his dad, and the guy's like, you know what? I'll sell you the car.
I'll make you a deal.
Yeah, I'll make you a deal.
And he makes him a
and then
deal
that
on a
kid's
unicorn.
driving around in a 71 Chevelle, and it looks pristine as it did back in 1971.
Can we do 69?
69, whatever.
I like that body style better.
Yeah, I mean, any of them. I'd take any of them for free. But it's
For sure.
like, it's crazy how, like, I wish I was that kid that got the damn
Right,
car.
right.
But,
Because I drove a beater.
yeah.
I drove an old beater.
The old Ford Ranger. It's a fucking Ford Ranger.
No,
That's
mine,
what I drove.
mine was a 79 Jeep Wagoneer.
Really?
Yeah, it was badass. Me and my dad, that's the only motor, I'll never do it again. It's the only motor I've ever physically had my hands in and rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
My dad rebuilt the motor for me, and I helped him. It had a $7 paint job. Not even gonna lie. Went to Walmart, bought a bunch of rattle cans, painted the sumbitch camo.
Yep.
And back then, Elmer Fudd was still big. And remember when Rambo movie come out?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had Wambo. Elmer Fudd was Wambo.
Yeah.
And we called it the Wambo wagon. I had a picture of Elmer Fudd in the back holding his knife and his bow, and it said Wambo wagon.
I can't believe they got rid of those cartoons.
But, oh, God, me either. Because this shit that's going on nowadays is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, $7 paint job, complete motor rebuild, complete undercarriage rebuild, had big wheels and tires, and I drove the piss out of that thing. You couldn't get it stuck.
Yeah.
All my buddies get hammered drunk, call me in all hours of the night. Hey, we got our truck stuck. Can you come pull us out? Never hooked on anything. And I mean, when I say it was redneck, it was redneck.
Yeah.
The back bumper was a piece of 4-inch angle iron. 1/4-inch thick, 4-inch angle iron. You could hook anything onto it, and unless you pulled that frame in half, you weren't pulling that bumper off.
I had a phone call like that from my brother once to snap the hooks off my Tahoe.
Yeah,
The front hooks.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't going to snap them off this old girl.
No.
It was welded to the frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've I've done a lot of weird shit, had a lot of cool shit. But you start talking about cards, and it really makes me think, if there's some money there,
Oh, yeah.
and we can figure out how to find the market, y'all in the market for some baseball cards? I know a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to make this podcast huge. I'm going to sell some baseball cards and buy all the equipment. We're going to have
And
a
I'm
freaking
going to
studio.
Vegas and putting it on black.
No. No. And I'm not going to Disney World because they sport the devil, I think.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a different day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
All right.
I
well,
would like to go to SHOT Show. That's kind of my Disney World.
Yeah. SHOT Show would be fun.
Yeah. SHOT
Invitation
Show in
only.
Vegas.
No, so.
Yeah. Kind of get a invite there. I like guns.
So do I.
So if anybody wants to take a couple extra guys to SHOT Show, it's coming up pretty quick too. I think it's like in a week or so.
End of the month.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, and we're gonna get some hat. I'm gonna try to get some hats done this weekend.
Yeah. Remember, always wrap
So
it
if you
up.
want hats, yes, don't be like me.
No.
But if you would like a hat, just shoot us a message on Facebook or comment on the video, and there's an email in there. I check it all the time.
Instagram, Twitter,
I have
all that stuff.
Or if you know us personally, you can just message us personally. It doesn't matter.
Call me. We'll do
yeah.
lunch.
Yeah, on you.
On you. I'll get that.
I'll trade you a hat for a steak. Dude.
Hat for a steak.
But yeah, we were just kind of, we didn't really have luckily he didn't have a script this time. We just kind of went with it.
I mean, I thought about it.
Yeah. He didn't think very hard because his head wasn't steaming. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna have another episode in next week before you go on your second vacation of the year and then just start it.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So,
Is it my second?
well, I mean, this weekend will be like a mini vacay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're going to
KU basketball.
Yeah.
Then Colorado.
Curious if the Chiefs will win their playoff game.
And in May, we're going to Jamaica.
Oh yeah, he's going to Jamaica.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna be pretty busy. But all right.
Remember, like, follow, subscribe, all that. Happy, whatever you, I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, you all have a great day, night, evening, whatever, wherever you live, whatever it may be.
Yeah, peace out.
See ya.
Good to see you. And that's a wrap.
You do that. This is why we drink, people. This is why
This is why we drink, because it's a wrap.